Okay, Hashem.
24th of October, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Okay, so we not sure where we got up to. Don't have it marked off. We were talking about the din of the swarm of bees. Oh yeah, we were doing the Rashi. We did the Rashis about Masech Lefi Tumo. That's what we were doing. Okay, so um, right. So let's start from it's in the middle of this section over here. We got a few more lines. It's on the Kufya Dalet on the base. Before the Mishnah. It's in the wide lines now. We're in the wide lines. And the Gemora is bringing a Maisa about a person who's Masich Lefi Tumo, and that he was a Kohen because he was eating because he remembers about his memories about eating truma. It starts off with the Gemara that says Uderaisa lo, because before that the Gemara had said in the name of Rav Ashi that the whole reason why Rav Yochanan ben Broka says in the Mishnah that we take the testimony of Isha Katan for Masech Lefi Tumo is because the whole din of the bees over there, and who owns the bees and who's got to return the bees to the owner and all that is only it's only Durabanan, because the Kinyan in the bees can only be a Kinyan Durabanan. The acquisition of them is only Durabanan. So it's not really a Deraisa question over there. So we're lenient with Masech Lefi Tumo. Now the Gemara says, oh, but we got a case of Deraisa with this story with this guy. So let's read this story. Where is it on the page? It's 1, 2, 3 lines, 3 wide lines down from the top of where the wide lines begin. So the first word on that line is Shel Diborim, the Kinyan Rabbananu, and then the Gemara asks, would Deraisa lo?
But a Deraisa lo, with respect to biblical law, no. Ve'he Mar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. But Rav Yehuda said in the name of Shmuel, Ma'aseh be'adam echad shehaya me siach lifi tumo v'omer. It once happened that a man was talking and he said, Zechurani Keshani Tinok Tinok Umur Kevani Al Keseifo Shel Abba. I remember when I was a child, and I was riding on my father's shoulder. V'hotzi uni mi beis hasefer, and he took me from school. V'hif shi tuni es kutanti, and he removed my tunic. V'it biluni le'echol bisrum a la'arev. And he immersed me so I could eat truma at night. The Rebbe Chanina Misayim Ba Hachi, and Rebbe Chanina concluded it thusly: V'chaveri b'delin mi menu v'hayu korin osi Yochanan ochel chalos. And my friends would keep away from me and called me Yochanan the challah eater. Ve'ha'lahu Rebbe likahuna al piv. And he elevated him. Rebbe elevated him to the kahuna on his word. I think that's it.
What page are you on right now?
114b3, left-hand column, third paragraph.
Okay, so we have some Rashis over here. First one is the Hit Biluni. About 10 narrow lines down.
The Hit Biluni. Okay. That means he made tefillah. He did tefillah.
Yeah.
Levitt Shadarko Sheltina, according to the way of a tinok, a child, the tefach, with the
Tapeya Bishrosi.
tapeya b'sharatzim u'betumato, because he wants to take care of his tumah. In a sense, he does want to do a tefillah because of the tumah. So that's why he did a tefillah.
Right, Lefisha Darko Shaltina, because it is the way of a child, the tapeyach, to play around with shrotzim, dead dead shrotzim, which are an abatuma. So he would become a rishon latuma, transmitted to the child. Ubatumos and other types of things that are ritually impure. And the halacha is that a Kohen, if he wants to eat truma, he's got to be in a state of ritual purity. So therefore, what does he have to do? So assuming he's not Tumei Mace, but he's just got some type of tumah, even from an Abba tumah. So he just goes to a mikvah, and then he waits to the end of the day, and at night he's permitted to eat truma. Okay, now we got a few more Rashis over here. Bedili mimeni.
The dealing, many. The dealing is they would keep them away, separate. They'll have deal. Mipnei trumate, because of his truma. And then it says the truma derabanan.
Oh, that's an answer the Gemara is going to give. So, in other words, what the Gemara wanted over here is to show that we accepted this person who was Masih Tumo. He wasn't coming to testify. He was saying it somewhere, and I guess somebody related to us that he heard this individual saying this. And that person, I guess, presumably came to the Bezdin and told the Dayanim that, and then on that say so of that Adis that in other words, number one is saying about Yochanan that he heard him say the following things. That he relate the following stories about his childhood. So on that basis, Rebbe said that's enough to that we could say that he's able to eat truma, and he could also be he can also do the Birkas Kohanim on the say so of this testimony, and so therefore we see that the Gemara thought that truma was a din deraisa over here of truma and duchenin, and the Gemara says, well, as far as truma goes, truma is only drabanan. So we see that we don't have any proof that we accept this type of testimony in a case which affects a din deraisa. So now Rashi's got something to say about this truma drabanan. Lou, you want to read?
Okay. Betruma derabanan. Bizman hazeh. The Rebbe la'achar choravan he ve'achi ve'ika man de'amar lo kiddusha le'atid leba. So regarding the truma of the rabbis today, that Rebbe that after and afterwards after the destruction, it is the one who says it's not holy in the future to come.
Yeah. Okay. So very good. translation. Now we need to put this translation together to get a shot. Truma, the Gemara is answering over here, Truma D'Rabbanan. And Rashi says, Truma D'Rabbanan means that even though it's true, there's a mitzvah in the Torah of Truma, and it's a din deraisa, but there's such a thing as a rabbinic Truma. What's rabbinic Truma? Says Rashi, B'zman hazeh, in our days. That's when there's a din of Truma D'Rabbanan in our days. I mean, we don't have any Truma anymore, but I guess in the time of the Gemara, there was still handing out Truma to Kohanim who were careful to purify themselves to be able to eat Truma b'tahara. And when exactly was this? Rashi says, Rebbe was the one who, in other words, Rebbe, we're talking about Rebbeinu HaKodesh, Rebbe Yehuda Nasi, and he was la'achar churban. He was after the destruction, and that's referring to the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash. Rebbe lived after that, and that's when Truma at that time was at that time and onward is D'Rabbanan. So it's only a D'Rabbanan Dika Truma at that point. And why is it only a D'Rabbanan Dika Truma at that point? Rashi explains it's got to do with this what he's quoting over here. There's an opinion that says Lo Kitsha Las Lavo. What exactly is that all about? If you have a note, that might help you. Yesh Sobrim Shetruma B'zman hazeh D'Rabbanan Rebbe la'achar churban haya. And what's this next thing that Rashi says over here? Needs a bit of explanation. How is it fitting in over here? Do they have a note about this? What's the nature of Eretz Yisrael? Is it still retain its kedusha after the Churban Habayis? Does Eretz Yisrael still retain its kedusha such that the truma that would be grown there in Eretz Yisrael would have a din of truma deraisa or only a din rabbanan? So Rashi says it seems to be we're going according to the Manoma that says that it's not. It doesn't have the same kedusha after the korban, and therefore the truma is only d'rabbanan. Without getting into an arifus. Okay. So, and now we go on in the Gemora. The Gemora says, no, Vakati deraisa lo. Is it still really true that there's no such a thing as a person who's testifying that somebody heard somebody being mistake with tumo, and we won't accept that testimony in a din deraisa? The Gemara is going to try to prove that we do, and even in a din deraisa accept such testimony. So, Alan, are you there? Would you like to read for us? Alan, I see you got a red mic. Your mic is red.
Okay, that was okay.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
So the Gemara answers. Bis Gemora, the Rabbanan. Rebbe was dealing with rabbinic truma. The Gemara persists. Vaikiti the or saw low, and do we still maintain that with respect to biblical law we may not rely on casual talk? But Ki or Sor Rab the me or Mar or when Rab Dumi came from Eretz Israel to Babylonia, he said, Rav Chanor Kara Tiganor Omri Lor Rav Ator Kartanor Mish Torsay Mr. A. Rav Kana of Carthage, and others say that it was Rav Acha of Carthage, Carthage, related that Maasebor, Lefi Rav Yehoshua ben Levi, an incident came before Rav Yehoshua ben Levi, Mar Lor Maasebor Lifnei Rabbi, and others say that the incident came before Rabbi, but Lisa, no. Milk, a corn, Sheholyor, Messiah, the thing, to Omar regarding a certain boy who was speaking casually and said, "Ani nu levan or day koborim." My mother and I were taken captive amongst the idlers. See. When I would go out to draw water to eat, excuse me, my mind was on my mother. Excuse me, Lila coat, seen when I would go out to gather wood, the ETL me, my mind was on my mother. But he saw Rabbi Al and Rabbi permitted her to marry a Kohen of the strength of his words. Evidently, we rely on casual talk even when in regard to biblical law. The Gemora answers, Kalo, in the case of a captured woman, rabbis were lenient.
Okay. Let's see, Rashi. Esiu Rebbe LeKahuna.
Vesiu Rebbe LeKahuna. And they raised up the Rebbe to the Kahuna. Afagav, even though the Isero, the Araisa, even though it was something that was an Isser Deraisa, Mishum Zona. Because I guess he had relations with the Zona.
So we're talking about over here, Hesio Rebbe LeKahuna. Rebbe allowed this woman to be to become married to a Cohen. And so Rashi is pointing out that even though that would involve an Isser Deraisa, if it would be that she had been violated by the Chachamim, she then would have a din of Azona, and she would be Asura LeKahuna. So here we got a din Deraisa that we're accepting the Edis, which is based upon somebody casually, innocently relating that he was aware, and also he was a Tinok. He wasn't even of the age of being able to testify. We're going to rely on what he said, that he was watching his mother and everything was okay. He was like guarding over her. And then the Gemara answer, so we have a raya that we accept such testimony of innocent and casual talk, even in a din deraisa. Not the Gemara said, no, b'shvuya hakilu. It's true that's what happened over there by Rebbe, but it's not a proof across the board on a din deraisa. We say when it comes to a captive, we are lenient. Rashi says the sveka ba'almahi.
It's just a doubt. It's
Yes,
a doubt
it's,
because you don't know.
yeah, we don't really have anything to go on. Apparently in that case, Rashi's talking about that case, there was really nothing that indicated that she was violated, other than the fact that she was she was taken captive by these non-Jews. But other than that, we don't have anything to go on to say that anything happened, that she was violated, and therefore we'll accept the testimony in this case on that account. Very good. Okay, so that completes that section, I believe, of with the bees and with Masiach Lefi Tumo, that type of testimony. And now Gemora goes on to another part of the Mishnah. Avalo Yakots es Socho. But one is not allowed to cut down the branch that the bees are on, even if it's in order to return the bees to the owner. And that was what the Tanakama said in the Mishnah. But then Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Ben Broka said that no, even to cut down the branch, he would be allowed to do that. And then he would just he'd have to pay for the branch, though. That he'd have to do. Okay. I wonder if he's coming. Whose bees is he coming to save? He's coming to save his own bees? I guess he's coming to save his own bees. Okay, so let's see what the Gemara says over here. Tanya. Lou is busy, so Alan, you want to read?
Fred.
Tanya Rabbi Yishmael Beno. Shell. See where that is? It's
Fred. Didn't I just finish?
Yeah, right. So Phil, you want to read?
Let me get that. Let me find where you are. The Tanya.
B3, right after ruling, right?
I see it on the article. I want to see it on the Gemara part, not the translation part.
It's the last two dots before the Mishnah. 5 lines up, 4 lines up.
Tanya Rabbi Shmuel, Beno Shel Rabbi Yochanan ben Barocha. It was Bryce, the son of Rabbi Yochanan ben Barocha. Omar, he said, Tanai Beitin. This is a condition of Beis Din. Who he roed letoch sadeh, someone who goes down into his field, shel chavero, of his friends, v'kotzeitz socho shel chavero, when he cuts down a branch of his friend's thing, latzil et nehilo, to save his swarm of bees, v'notel damei, and he gives him the damei socho, the money value of that branch, mitoch nehel, of his things, shel chavero. V'tanai beit din hu, and it's a condition of the beis din, shehi shofech yaino, if he spills his wine, matzel dochshovo shel chavero. He's going to save something by spilling the wine. He's going to save, what's a dove shea? Because that's honey of his friend.
Right, because he no tell me he's shofech yeno. He's spilling out. Jew number one is spilling out his wine from his vessel. So now he's got a vessel that's empty, and he could use that empty vessel umatzil as dubshano shel chavero in order to save the
bee's honey,
the honey, of his friend.
the honey of his friend. The notel demei I know, and he gives him the value of his wine, mitoch in place of the shoshel chavero, the honey of his friends. And another Tanai beit din who shehi mifarech et eitzav, he can cut down his branches. The toain pashton, and he's going to then something with his pashton shel chavero. What's his pashton from his friend? He's going to unload the wood.
Mefarek.
He's
Right,
going to unload. He's going to unload his farech.
Right.
The wood, and then he's going to load up. He's going to load up his flax. He's going to replace the flax. So these are replacement things. V'notel demeyet etzev, and he can give the value of the wood mitoch instead of the flax shel chavero. She'almanas, on the condition Cain inchil Yeshua Yisrael. This is how Yeshua inherited the land.
Right. This is
So it's a replacement thing. You can do these things to replace them. You're giving back the money of it because you need that for your thing. So you can take away the other guy's friend as long as you're going to reimburse him. And this is and Beit Dan has that condition.
okay. Well, the common denominator in all these cases is that at least these last two cases. I'm not so sure about the first case, but we have to figure out the facts of the case. But the last two cases, you got there's Jew number two who's losing his honey. Maybe the vessel that his honey was in was got a crack in it, and now all his honey is being lost. And Jew number one, he's got a vessel that's capable of saving that honey, but he's got his wine in that vessel. So Yeshua is telling him, he's saying, "Listen here, I was the one that brought Klal Yisrael into Eretz Yisrael, and you're getting Eretz Yisrael now because of me. I led everybody into Eretz Yisrael, and I think that Hashem wants that this is the way that we should behave, and on this basis, I am giving you Eretz Yisrael. You can take Eretz Yisrael if you agree to throw out your wine and give your use of your vessel to this fellow so that he can save his more expensive honey." We're talking about a case where the honey is more expensive than the wine, and therefore he could prevail upon him to Jew number two, can prevail upon Jew number one, the owner of the vessel of wine, to pour out his wine. So he's taking a loss on the wine, and then he'll take that vessel, Jew number two, and be able to save his what do you call it? his honey, and then he says, but we're not going to just require him to take a loss on the deal. No tel demei, he will the Jew number one who lost his wine, he will be reimbursed for the value of that wine, mitoch dupshano shel chabero, from the amount of the worth of the honey. That's up till that amount. He's going to get full reimbursement on his wine, and presumably the reason why we're doing this is because the dvash is more valuable than the wine. We have a Rashi over here.
We have a couple of Rashis.
Yes, this one is Shofek Yenoi.
He's going to spill out the wine. The Mishnah, who's there, it's torn the Mishnah this. Barrel of wine. V'zeh ba bekado shel dvash. And this one comes with his. You have two guys. One's coming with his barrel of wine, and one's coming with his pitcher of honey. Nistak and habayit shel dvash, and it was he had a crack in his honey pitcher, in his barrel of his power. He had a crack. He was going to lose the honey, so he figured it was worth it. My honey is worth more than your wine. I'll spill out your wine, give you the value of the wine, and I'll replace my honey in it.
Yeah.
That was the first case. In the second case, Towain Pishtano, he's gonna load up his flax, and this case is mate. The other case was that case was the honey, the barrel cracked. Here, what happens is mate a chamor chavero. So here, what happened is this guy's donkey died, the one who was holding the flax. So that's what happened. So now he's got a problem. So Hatoain Pishtan, the chavero that's loaded up with flax, the derech on the way. The other donkey, the one that's loaded with wood. So again, the wood. Let's see which one's worth more here. Well, he's loading it up with flax, so I guess the flax is worth more than the wood.
Right.
If he's unloading one, he can pay him and then reload it with his stuff instead.
Right. Right. So Yeshua is requiring people to not be particular about giving up their less expensive item and just being reimbursed with money, and in exchange for the other person be able to save his more expensive item.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what's going on over here. And so about the first case, what about the case with the bees and the branch? The bees are on the branch, and we're saying that that's also Tanai Bezdin. This is also a takana of Chachamim that I guess originated with Yeshua. That he's Jew number one is Yored L'Tov Sada Shel Chavero. He goes down to the field of Jew number two. Kotzei Socho, he cuts off the branch in the field of Jew number two. Hatzil es nechilo, in order to save his bees. And then he's got to pay notel demei socho mitoch henchilo shel chavero. Yeah, again, the one that is going down to the field of Jew number two, Jew number one, he's the one that owns the bees, so he wants his bees. So that's why he's and we allow him to cut down the branch of his friend, and then just to give him the money for it according to the value that of the bees that he saved. Okay, very good. Shelo lo liksos hanaf elim kain ma'amidu es nechiloi b'kdei sheyuchal hanezik ligvos tekef damo v'lo yidachenu b'kabolas damo. Well, one of the commentators over here says is that we don't allow Jew number one to come down and cut off the branch of Jew number two unless he's mamid es nechiloi. He establishes the swarm of bees in such a way so that the one that lost the branch will be able to collect immediately the value of the branch, and he shouldn't have to be pushed off unnecessarily to wait around to get his money back for the loss of his branch. Maybe he means to say he's going to have to sell off some of the bees. Maybe we put the bees on lean. The bees are on lean if you can catch them. Okay. Okay, everybody, have a great day.
Okay, be well.
That was a Gemora that was really for the bees.
Okay.
Bye, Phil. Bye, Alan. Bye, Lou.